am I correct?
That's right. I mean, we've submitted the language, and Mr. Goldsmith helped write that with clerk, and I think that's what it is. So, but I think what the clerk was trying to hint at is that we can encourage the electorate that this is what it means. You know, this is what, when you're voting, you cannot go one way or the other, but you can at least explain a yes vote means up on the marijuana, up to 5 establishments. A no means no on that.
I could tell you what, this language compared to some of the languages that I've had to vote on over the years is night and day. I don't think we'd have some things in place today if they were this clean and clear of what you're actually voting on. I think every single person, in my opinion, that will be voting on this will understand what a yes and a no is, because it's going to be something that people are talking about. It's been a very interesting subject since I've been in office, and so I think people are going to come out of the woodwork, talking about it, discussing it, and ultimately voting the way they would like to see. So, Mr. Steiner.
Like Mr. Graham said, obviously that's not something that we could put on the actual ballot for a yes means this and no means that. So we can convey that information, but just a reminder that this is their proposal. It's that long and the print is that big. So I can tell you right now, this goes out with your ballots, but nobody's going to read this whole thing. It's very difficult. So we just need to let people know, understand what you're voting for, and it's not just this. It's everything we do, everything we vote yes or no for, or for or against a person or anything. Understand it before we make our votes, one way or the other.
Maybe Mr. Graham can answer this, but how often this goes down in November, when can they bring it back to the board?
I don't know that answer. I would like to say they can't do it for a certain period of time. I would like to say that's the end, but I really can't say that.
Okay.
So, I am asking the board to ratify what the clerk had to do in a timely manner, before this meeting tonight. Plus, there was no meeting last week because of the election, and then we were still, as you say, vetting these signatures. It was a difficult thing. And again, we didn't ask for this. This came to us, and the law required us to deal with it. So I think we have dealt with it. And Paul, at first, Mr. Goldsmith, we talked about it. Mr. Goldsmith wanted to put all the language on, so that nobody could accuse us of trying to manipulate the language or the vote. But this is, as you said, much better. And the other thing is, and we found this, is that we can write our own ordinance. We don't have to take their ordinance. We're going to write our own ordinance within the parameters of this vote. As you say, it's pretty simple. Mm-hmm. And I think it's simple for the yes voters, and I think it's simple for the no voters.
Which I think it should be that way. If people want marijuana and they want to vote yes, so be it. But I don't think anybody should put it in a way that confuses the voters. So,
like how they were putting it out there when they were getting the petition signed?
That's what people were saying. But I mean, like again, what Mr. Steiner said, I don't know that. They didn't come to me. They didn't ask me. No, you know what I mean? To me, it's all hearsay. So, I don't know.
We did have employees that were approached.
I don't doubt that.
No, I'm just saying we did.
So, okay. Like a motion?
Please.
Are you ready for a motion?
Make the motion to approve the proposed ballot language as reviewed by our clerk and legal as presented.
Support. Motion is supported. Mr. Bruning, any more discussion? Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni.
Aye, the motion passed 7-0. And number 9, comments from the public. I haven't seen you move that quick in a while, Lamar.
5 hour.
5 hour, oh, okay.
Did your Wheaties today?
Lamar Frederick, 3254 Deer Creek Drive. On the project out back, the wide divergence of the bids give me a little bit of a heartburn, and I'm wondering if we're all looking at the same project. Be that as it may, I recommend, as I have several times, that the township get its own builder's risk. The reason for that is we had the roof, Tom would remember, the roof at the library fell down, but we had our own engineer. We didn't have to rely on the engineer of the builder. We simply went forward and took care of it ourselves. I recommend that you do that. Number 3, who's going to be the project manager on this? I've seen a lot of projects here that just don't go well. So I hope you have a good project manager to watch this thing. Number 4, you're going to get change orders. It's as simple as that, because there's going to be something that comes along and the contractor is going to say, not within the scope. And you're going to argue over that. So you're going to get them, because if somebody says this is 3.8 and somebody says this is 2.5, there are some serious questions in between. So be prepared for those. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Gail Kane, 105.6 West Temperance. I want to give a shout out to my fan, our Stephen, whether he be real or fake. Thanks for the support. Secondly, it seems to be that our ARPA money has reared its ugly head again, and I would suggest that you do vote no for any change orders. Secondly, the Bedford Township Community News and Views had a whole list of paid sponsors. They paid the Peronis to have their names put on that header. It has since come down, but because of things like that, I will be asking for a list of the subcontractors who work on this project. Thirdly, thank you, Trudy, for being clear and concise with a yes and no, because it really makes it easy. And fourth, the people that were asked if they had anything to add to this conversation in the building were not from Key. Key was not here in this room at all. Those people were from another company, and they were here because they have grave concerns over what took place. Anybody wants to ask me, see me after the meeting. And fourth, I'd like to see the applications that were not included in the packet at the last meeting due to people who were hired here by the township for having other jobs. I believe now that they have been hired, there's no reason why the public should not be able to see their applications for those jobs. Again, thank you, and all I can say is our maintenance equipment must be made of gold.
Josh Niederkor, 7948 Wiseman Road, Lambertville. So I want to touch on a few things. One, congrats on the election. I think it went pretty well, honestly. Two, we're going to talk about people's meeting attendance. Let's talk about people's hours that they spend in township halls as a full-time salary position. I think you know what I'm talking about. So before you continue to bash somebody for taking some time away for family time, let's look at your hours that you actually spend in township hall. Secondly, Facebook group, Bedford Township News and Events, that's obviously ran by somebody in particular, is putting out there, oh, this is how you should vote, telling people how to vote, and blocking people that don't agree with views so that they can't see posts or being on the loop of things. I think that's wrong and improper, and that needs to change as well. Thanks.
Any more comments?
Hello, everyone. Mark Ellsworth, 1421 Winding Way. I'm here on some positive news. Linda Johnson had approached me. She's a market manager for the Bedford Farmers Market. Approached me last fall about getting involved on the board, which I graciously did. And she has a list of things that markets do around the country. And one of the things that she wanted to institute was vouchers for vets. So I had talked to Al, and we started working on a couple of things, but I threw $500 worth of seed money in, and somebody was sitting in our coffee shop from Colorado, and he thought, wow, what a cool idea, and wrote a check for $200 just by visiting somebody and sitting in the coffee shop. So they started out with $700. Well, last weekend was their first go around with these vouchers to hand out, and there were, I don't know if you know this or not, but there were well over 500 people that visit the farmers market. It's busy. It's really cool. It's fun to see, and it's grown. But 70 vets showed up and spent $340 in vouchers, and produce was completely run out in a couple of stands, which I think is a pretty cool thing. So in the meantime, to continue, I'm still looking for people that want to donate. You can donate anytime. If you go to the farmer's market every Saturday, I'll have 2 pots of coffee there. You can throw money in to continue to help rotate funds through the fall so veterans can get coffee or get produce. But 70 vets to start out. It all stayed local. It stayed with local farmers. You should pat Linda Johnson on the back for pushing this program and going from there.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Ellsworth. Appreciate what you're doing for them.
Josh Stump, 7178 Wiltshire Drive. I just want to thank Trudy and her team on Election Day. I know it's a lot of work, and there's a lot of people that go into that, and I thought it went extremely well, and looking forward to another smooth election in November. So I just want to thank you. I think you did a great job. Thank you.
Any more comments? Okay, comments from board members. Mr. Steiner?
I have nothing this evening.
Okay, Mr. Montreux?
Nothing for me.
Mr. Gore?
No, just thank everybody that came out for voting. If I read the numbers correctly, Trudy, county-wide, we're only at 19%.
20.
20% countywide. I hope those numbers get up more, get out and vote. And what was the overall total for early voting? I mean, I'm not putting you on the spot, but I am.
Very low.
Very low? All right. Was it?
First side 160.
12.
Like 160. It's less than the last time.
Right. And that's at our cost.
Yes.
Okay. Right. But again, folks, November's coming up. I urge everybody to get out and vote and get those numbers up. And other than that, everybody have a good week.
Okay, Mr. Bruning?
Nothing more to add. Everyone have a good night, good weekend. The end of this month, I will be going down to get my oldest, Jacob. He's be finishing up his school, so I'll be getting him at Camp Geiger the end of this month. I'll be missing a park board meeting, but not the township meeting.
Everyone have a good evening and a nice weekend. That's all I have.
Ms. Hirschberger?
Our next board meeting will be next week, Tuesday, August 20th, due to the election. They're back-to-back. As I was saying, this election only had a 20% voter turnout. It's a 5% less turnout than we've ever had in a primary, so very low. I want to thank my staff, all of my election inspectors for their hard work, and all of the churches and the library for allowing us to use their locations for our precinct. We really appreciate their help with that. That's all.
Okay. The world's always falling with you, Miss Keene. It's always so bad. Well, let me tell you, it's not. Things are going well. Everybody here cares and does a great job, does their homework, and works very hard. And I appreciate every board member, even you, Todd. I appreciate you. Okay? Josh, it really worries me that you're going to be on the park board, because one thing I've told you for years is do your homework. And you just continue to throw crap at the wall. And you don't. Do your homework. It'll go a long ways with you being involved in the park board. Do your homework. No, you don't get to speak right now. You got to sit there and listen. Do your homework. Okay? So that's what I'll tell you. Community cleanup is going to be October 25th from 8 to 4 at Indian Creek Bus Garage. The DDA is continuing to work on their agreements for the signals. We want to make sure it's very tight okay? And we want to answer any questions before it comes to this board. So the legal team is working with Monroe County Road Commission's legal team to make sure it's something that we know the board will be willing to agree with. So that's continuing to be worked on. The Boo Bash is going to happen again this year. The DDA is working on that. That'll be in October. The Lake Erie Transit has a new general manager, J.T. Hensley. He's replacing Mark Jagozinski, who retired with over 30 years' experience. Mark is a Bedford resident, so I just wanted to congratulate him on all of his service. I want everybody to think of some hometown heroes. We have that wall downstairs that we've named, I think, 4 people in the last 8 years. So if you think of somebody, start nominating them. Or if anybody in the public has somebody, send them into Al. And, I will tell you this, touch on what Mr. Josh says, Al's going to be the new supervisor. So Al, I'm making sure that it's going to be an absolute smooth transition for Al. We work very closely every single day, and Al is running the office as he would see fit to where it's a smooth transition. What I would say is check the statutory laws of elected officials before you come up here, and you'll understand how it works. But things are running very smooth. I'm handling all of our major projects, and we're still going on. Not bringing on anything new to this board, that's kind of where that stands. I want everybody to understand what T.C. Clemens and his team is doing to the Monroe County Business Alliance. It's gotomonroe.com. They have worked very hard on a calendar, a county-wide calendar, and they've done a great job with it. I would recommend anybody that wants to know anything that's going on in the county, go to gotomonroe.com, and you can see what's going on at one page. You don't have to go to each township or village or city. You know what's going on in your county. So I want to thank them for all their hard work on that. Other than that, I feel really confident with us picking the contractor for the maintenance building. All of us, and including myself, will be extremely involved in the process with Mr. Jacobs from now and at least me until I leave, which I won't be involved in much of it, but Mr. Pryor will take over. He has years of construction experience, and Mr. Kohler, our building inspector, will be involved. We're going to make sure this project goes well, and we're going to make sure that when we're done with it, people don't walk through it, or the maintenance guys don't walk through it and are like, oh, why didn't we do this, or why does that look like? We're going to make sure it's done right. So, we all have a lot of complaints about this building not having a basement or storage or windows that open. So we want to make sure that we touch on a lot of these things. But other than that, nothing. Okay, motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn. Adjourn.